And we're back, and we are moving into our next conversation for today. Just in case you're wondering, Isani had to leave because he's on duty to cover today's house meeting, so he's on his way to the west. But I'm continuing the rest of the show, and this is going to be a very important segment for people at home who want to cut their hair. Edmond Staine is with us. Of course, we all know Edmond from the annual Back to School trimming drive. And so for 10 years, he's been doing a haircut. So he's going to try to teach the guys at home something new. Good morning.
Good morning, Marlene.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I mean, it's the first time I'm seeing myself like this, but, you know, I'm surviving.
You know, I think I've heard so many stories of people concerned about not being able to go to the salon or to the barber, and it seems to be a collective experience right now. But
a lot of people say that they should have barbers as essential workers.
But you know, it's across the globe, you know. In the United States, for example, they said at one point all the trimming tools and hair dyes were flying off the shelf. So it's not just
amazing.
us. But let's talk about it. You know, you started your experience with cutting hair as a way of getting kids ready for school. And so it seems like something very difficult, but you guys have been pulling it off. So how easy is this for someone to do at home who's never done it?
It's not too difficult. I mean, I won't by any means try to pretend like I'm an expert at trimming or anything. I mean, I cut hair basically. There's some amazing guys in Belize that can trim. I mean, I can think about Brian and my little brother Kimber, you know, some of these guys from Farid's barbershop. You know, they have, there was a professional barber that came to our show once. Curious, he's a professional. I mean, these guys are top of the line barbers. But the tips I'm going to share today will really guide the guys that are like me, that are novices, that just want to look into the quarantine time, you know. We use basic stuff. I mean, we don't have to go high-tech into any expensive equipment. You know, I can remember as a kid when, just to give you a little picture of what used to happen, my grandparents had 18 kids, and we used to live in one yard, and basically all of us. And there used to be this one Auntie Hilla. She with her scissors and her comb, and everybody lined up to get trimmed. And that was for us to go back to school back then, you know, and that was like basically, we were excited to get our hair cut. We didn't worry about a markup or anything, you know.
Oh, wow. So that's what we're doing today. We're doing a scissors and comb haircut?
Well, I'm just demonstrating.
Oh, okay.
So now, I mean, if you have a beard like mine that is growing, you can basically use your scissors and your comb to kind of get it combed out, and you can level your beard, you know, using this device. I mean, it's simple. You don't have to. It's not expensive. I mean, basically.
Those are two items that most people would have at home.
Definitely. Most people have scissors and comb. You know, you can take your beard and comb it out, and you can really level it out using this, you know, as a piece of equipment. Some people use it to cut their hair. You know, I wouldn't do it personally. I would cut somebody else's hair in case I don't have a machine.
Yeah.
Because you have to get on top of it and make sure that it's level.
Yeah.
They're different. Yeah, sorry?
No, I'm just listening in awe. But because your comb and scissors for the beard makes so much sense. It's for people who are growing a beard, they relied on their barber to kind of keep it nice and groomed. But this is one way to keep it groomed.
Yeah, well, for me, I had a smaller beard. So when it started to grow, there's like a thick black line where the beard was at first, and then the other is trying to grow.
Yeah.
So it looks bad. So, you know, you have to like really get it combed out to where, and just take snips at it, and just keep it right in line with the comb.
Yeah.
And that's level out your beard for you really, really nicely. You know, so that's like one way you can do it. You know, please make sure you have a brush or something you can use to kind of smooth it out afterwards. That's an example of how you can keep your beard, you know, kind of level.
Yeah, because it grows unevenly too. Like some areas grow faster than others.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that happens, especially with us. I'm a Creole guy. So my hair grows all over the place. We have to like kind of
and some of the curls might be more dense in some areas than others.
Yeah.
I know.
We have the curly hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the next items that we can use really is just a basic shaver.
Okay.
these types, these are the real cheap ones. These you could get them for $1 at the store.
Okay.
They work perfectly. Some people can afford to buy shaving cream. You know, these are some of the cheaper types. These are like $5 for the pop. There's some expensive types to use, like the Gillette, other brands that are much more, I think it's more effective.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a big budget, like a lot of people don't right now, especially because of the COVID-19, you know, you can go with the shaving cream, or what I do. I don't even use shaving cream when I use razors. I use a bar of soap. You know, you just take the bar of soap and you lather it on your face, and trust me, this gives you a really sharp edge. You know, a really sharp edge, and it really works effectively.
Okay.
I mean, this is better because it has a handle on it, and it's easier to use than the traditional razor blades. I mean, I can use razor blades because I've practiced it over time, but I wouldn't encourage somebody that's just starting out to use a razor blade. I mean, if you don't have the technique covered. I mean,
okay.
Sorry, yeah.
So you said the regular disposable razor will give you a sharper edge and is easier to control if you want to define the beard.
It's much easier to control, and it gives you a smooth edge. I mean, if you look at this, I have a bar of soap in my hand. If I would lather this area right here, right, just lather it with the normal soap, guys. This is stuff that you have at home, right? So you don't have to really worry about running to the store, using your benefits money or anything to try to get Groom. These are some of the items that you would buy anyways, you know. So you can do this, and the line will basically show as you clean it off. If you notice, you see that the line will basically come, and it shows with the soap, but that's where your hair is. So you can basically see how clean this is getting, like really quickly. If you notice.
Okay.
And it's getting down. And you can see the line being created. This is what they go for these days. They go for the straight edge, right?
Yeah.
But if you notice, it's getting down. And it's getting really smooth. And this is very cheap. This is not expensive at all. Very easy to do because the handlebars on the razor gives you better control. Right? If I wanted to, I could switch this up and use the traditional razor blade that we use at the stores in Belize. In other countries, like when I've traveled, I've noticed that they don't use these razor blades simply. They use it like with a handlebar on it.
Yeah.
They use a hot towel to kind of get it cleaned up.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to know how to maneuver it. You kind of flex it, and you can just shave your face with it, right?
I don't know. That doesn't look like anything somebody who's inexperienced should try.
I mean, you can't end up cutting your face if you.
Of course.
So I'm kind of going towards
the disposable. Okay.
Shaver, right?
We'll stick with the disposable recommendation.
Yeah, and it's really clean.
All right. So we have two really great tips there. One, to just kind of keep the beard even. You use a comb and a scissors to kind of keep it even throughout.
If you notice how it gives you this straight line.
Yeah.
It gives you a straight line, and that's what the guys go for nowadays. Everybody wants to have the straight, clean contour line.
Yeah.
You know, basically.
And you did that with a disposable razor and a bar of soap. So even if people were thinking it's not possible, you just showed us that it is.
It is. I mean, and you could do your entire hairline with it. You know, it's not even that difficult. Of course, if you have additional equipment, if you have like, these are the cheaper version, these are con ears. You can find these at the store for $35.
Okay.
Expensive. I have the mid-range clippers here. These are wall precision versions. These here, you go like $60, you know, for these at the store, and these work perfectly. These are exactly what we use for the back-to-school drive every time. You know. All
right, so let's get into the haircut portion then. So.
Yeah.
That's where people are, everybody's growing a little bit more hair than they're used to. And they want to just look presentable, even if that's the case. And it's hot.
What I have here is a wall magic clip. This was good to me, right? So these are the 5-star clippers. They're really silent, and then since 2018, they came up with the cordless version of them.
Okay.
But if you do have them, then that's very good, because it's very good clippers. The weight of it and the heavy duty grade of it tells you how good it works. we use it for the trimming drive, and it didn't run hot after cutting over 50 years. Yeah, it was really put to the test at that point in time. If you have Hispanic hair, you kind of have to use the bigger guides when you want to cut.
Okay.
For guys like me, like I said, I'm a Creole guy. My hair grows my hair grain basically grows in one direction. So it's to the front, to the side, to the back, and again to the other side, and it's straight down along the contour grains.
So you're lucky.
Cut.
You're lucky because you kind of have a guide already as to how to go.
Yeah, it's fairly easy. For example, you take the machine and you cut directly frontwards, right? You cut directly frontwards. And it's very, very easy to get the hair off.
Yeah.
And it comes right off as long as you have the proper guide in place to take it to the height that you want to. This is not hard to do, guys. You just follow, you take the clipper, you hold it upwards, facing out from you, and you put it up on the top of the bowl of your head, and you bring it directly frontwards.
How do you not get the bald spots? Because I think that's the part that people are most fearful of, that they just dip too low. And it happens, especially if you're not experienced.
It's very tricky. I think I cut my hair like 3 or 4 times by myself first before actually learning how my hair grows. There's this spot on the top of the head that has like a spiral.
Yeah, the little center.
You cut the hair on the wrong direction in whichever case, it gets under the grain and it actually causes a dollar coin to come on the top of it.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Okay. So your tip to that is find the center, like the little circle area, and then kind of, what do you do? Do you feel your hair to see which way it grows, or do you use a mirror?
Yeah,
how do you?
If you're doing it by yourself, which I'm doing right now, you have to really take your hand and feel for that little contour you have here. And whenever you feel it, you have to take the grain, and whichever way you feel the grain going, you take it either downwards, forward, or the sides, and you take it around and around until the hair gets to the height that makes you really comfortable.
Okay.
It's just like you take your hand to the top and you put the clipper in front of your hand.
Yeah.
Right? You just bring the hair down, and it's all coming off to the height that you want it to. Based on the guide. I mean, you could take this to a number 1, a number 2, a number 3, whichever you want to take.
What are you using right now?
This is a number 2, but I actually filed it down a bit, so it's like midway between number 1 and number 2.
Okay.
So it's a height that I really like because I'm eating up my hair. it literally brings out the waves, and like us as dark men, we like to have our waves showing. It's like a fashion statement, right?
So a 1 would take you down to like a crew cut style.
Yeah, it'd be like a cleaner cut, closer to what the police officers, Coast Guard officers find acceptable.
And you're at between a 1 and a 2, you said.
Yeah, because I literally took a number 2 and I filed it down. Like I filed it down to kind of give me the height that I want to. I mean, that's me experimenting. I'm not gonna advise anybody to go and do that. But it gives me the height that I want. I feel comfortable with. I really cut my hair because of the heat. Like the heat drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I have to keep it down. I was just about to actually cut my hair when I got the call from Channel 5 to come and assist with this. So I said, you know what, I'm going to wait. So
you left it even longer just for us. Well, we're grateful because it was a very hot weekend too. You probably preferred it cut.
It was excruciating. Well, Channel 5 has been good to us from ever since we've started. And it's the least I can do to try to give back. I know it's a really tough time for a lot of people right now, especially during this COVID-19 outbreak. I mean, we have been doing a lot of work through Plow and through our organization. We have seen an extreme demand for the pantry. So far a lot of people are trying to find food. So, keeping yourselves clean, keeping yourself with a little bit of confidence right now is very important moving forward.
Yeah. And we appreciate the tips so far. So, I mean, you really shared a lot. One of the first things I think maybe nobody thought of was to figure out how your hair grows. If you're going to use the clipper, how it grows so you don't go in the wrong direction and end up with the shilling or the dollar, or some people have the 50 cents.
You can also use the clipper to get yourself marked up. I mean, you have to use the razor. If you don't have a razor, you don't have a razor, you're out of cash, the stores are closed, it's nighttime or whatever, it's quarantine, or it's a Sunday when everything is closed down.
Yeah.
You can machines to actually give yourself a good markup. You know, and some of these are very sharp, so it works fine.
So this is kind of just to give you one even cut all around, which is all you encourage people to do at this point. I don't know if you want to move towards fades or that's too complex for people to try at home on their own.
I have some friends that can give themselves a fade. I mean, a lot of my friends have the skills to do that. I can give myself a taper.
Okay.
But it gets kind of tricky. So after mirrors, and it's very, it's kind of scientific. So I just stick to the regular cut.
Yeah.
I try to do more, but usually if I have a conference or something important coming up by way of the work that I do, then of course I try to clean up because I look presentable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's basically it. If it's in case somebody is not that skilled, it's the first time they're trying it, stick to the basics. The basics always work. Like I said, the basic stuff can help you and get you through your process just as effective as anything else.
Yeah.
The razor blades can work, or just the shavers. I mean, there's some expensive ones. There are some cheap ones. The cheap ones are as effective. So I recommend using them.
All right. So you said for your hair, curly hair, 1 or 2 works good. If you have straight hair, you suggest using a wider comb.
Yeah, I mean, if you have higher hair, because for us, you know, we're gonna use the scissors if our hair gets higher because it gets really tangled and the machines can't really work. You know what I mean? The people with loose hair, like some of the Hispanic guys, the East Indian guys, they want to use like a number 3, number 4 clip.
Okay.
You know, to cut the tops off. And most of these guys nowadays use the shear off end. So maybe they use the number 1 to kind of use it in opposite direction, so they get a nice fade going around.
Okay.
First, and then you kind of phase it in with the higher braids so that the hairline doesn't show clearly. It's like faded in. It's not that difficult to do. I mean, there's a lot of these things are on YouTube. You can just go and see exactly how it's done and practice it. This is the perfect time to practice it because you may be home for a little time. So if anything goes wrong,
you have enough time for your mistakes to grow out.
You can grow out of your mistakes, right? Perfect.
All right. Any final tips, Edmond?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just want to ask. You know, you guys can use like an alcohol-based antiseptic or just to clean yourself up whenever you're finished. What I usually do is to go and take a shower. So I wash my face using that, and then afterwards I use just alcohol, and I take and I kind of I mean, another tip that I wanted to share. These things for guys like me, don't use shavers under the chin. If you use shavers under the chin, it causes razor bumps to come.
Yeah.
So what I use under the chin is just the machines, right? So you gotta be very careful. If you're gonna use it, then try to have enough shaving cream or use enough soap, like a whole lot of soap, so that it doesn't irritate it. I find that my hair, and not only mine, but other guys that have hair like mine, it gets really irritated if you try to use a razor blade under there, and it brings razor bumps.
Yeah.
Nobody likes razor bumps, so I advise to use the machine under the chin to kind of get cleaned up doing that, and it works effectively, and it doesn't give any razor bump. So I always remember after every trim, every shave, you use some type of antiseptic. Alcohol works perfectly. You use that and you kind of get it to turn up. If you feel heat developing anywhere along, you use powder on that, and the powder kind of keeps it cool. And that kind of eliminates any adverse effects.
All right. So there we have it. Some of the tips on how to do your at-home styling for men.
Yeah.
Very quick tips and stuff that I've, like I said, from keeping the beard groomed with scissors and a comb, using a regular disposable razor and soap if you don't have anything else. And of course, just how to guide yourself through that first clipping experience for people at home. Thank you so much for the tips, Edmond.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me.
And I hope I've done it justice as a female, because clearly
you're a very informative host. I mean, you're very interactive, so you're versatile. So
you made it easy. You knew what to say. But thank you again, and we hope that people do try at home. And as we've said, if they do make mistakes, they'll probably still be at home when it grows out. So don't worry.
Definitely. I mean, we're hoping this year to have the 10th annual back to school drive. Yeah. I know that some social distancing protocols may have to be established. We're looking into those things. But I want to assure the public that we're going to definitely be here to provide some assistance during the summer months, leading up to school being reopened. So the people that are, kind of disenfranchised right now, I've heard of like 60,000 people applying for unemployment benefits so far. That's very devastating numbers. I mean, looking forward. So we're definitely going to try to see what we can do our part, and going to try to do more this year to try to see how we could provide some level of ease to the poor communities within Belize. I mean, we're definitely, our heart goes out to everyone right now. We're thankful to all the people on the front lines working hard, trying to get things going. And we're very grateful for the situation in Belize. Although we have lost some lives, it's not as bad as even our neighbors right now. So we're going to keep ourselves in prayer, stay focused, encourage everybody to stay at home, stay safe, stay sanitized, and stay healthy.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Edmond. Do take care and stay safe too.
All right. Thank you so much, Marlene.
All right. So there you have it, the home haircut and beard grooming.